people will always try their best to try and counterfeit your currency. And that's why many countries of the world usually make sure that they put so many security features on their currency to make it difficult. Not to make it impossible,
make it difficult.
Yes.
For several features.
You know, those multiple features. It's just like the from EC8A and the rest. Those critical INEC documents, INEC materials, they put, especially those forms, because they know that politicians can easily fake them. So they put numerous multiple features, you know, and they get the national security printing to print those notes and those documents, but it still won't stop people. So what CBN should do at this stage is to enlighten people. It's not enough to issue a press statement. You have to sustain the enlightenment. Let people know what they should look out for to determine whether the Naira note in their hands is fake or real. These notes are usually being used in the open market, like all these roadside markets. They just quickly, it's something that they use and then run away. And people have also told me that some people take those counterfeit notes to ATM galleries. When they see that there's a queue, somebody will volunteer to so-called sell the notes to you. Whereas in the real sense of the word, he knows that you are impatient, you are not prepared to wait for so long, so he's trying to exploit your lack of patience by offering to sell his own Naira notes to you, whereas it's actually fake. So the best thing, when you get to an ATM gallery, try to be patient, wait for the machine to dispense your own cash to you. Where people try to lure you to buy notes from them, be very careful, you know, and as much as possible where you can use electronic payment platforms, use them, because they cannot counterfeit that one. So it's, for me, CBN has to do some sensitizing, maybe use the electronic media to show features of the fake notes, you know, and tell people how best to approach this problem, because especially now that there is some level of scarcity, this problem will remain.
Wale, if you go outside the country, and even if you take Uber and you are offering an Uber driver, like in the US, I know that one for sure, like $100. We look at their face, here's another mercury light. Yeah. We just put the mercury light and to assure that, because it's not something that is usual going about with $100 notes in America. Yeah. Even the ATM will not dispense $100. But trust Nigerians, we are the one that we have $100 to spend in the supermarket, grocery store, and everything. Yeah. So they have that security feature. So should we start deploying that?
Well,
the mercury lights across
in the market.
I think
mercury light.
I think for developed nations like the US, it's possible to have multi-layers of outposts where you can detect fake currencies. But it's not that they also have it everywhere. There are some places also going to the US or UK that you spend pound sterling or US, and they don't have the machine with ultraviolet rays that can detect the, or those with magnetic sensors that can automatically detect the fake currency. But I think like Babajide has said, it's a global problem. And I think I remember sometimes the US was even accusing Iran of producing fake dollars. So some countries also do it to weaken the economic of other countries. It's an organized crime cartel, and it's getting more, the procurement industry in the financial sector, the security aspect, they are getting more sophisticated, The same thing that those that are printing fake currency are also getting more sophisticated. So it means that every country needs to be more active, because in Nigeria it's a criminal offense, and I think the penalty is 5 years. But as it is now, we need to carry out a lot of enlightenment, because if you are not careful, people will start getting money even when it is not fake, because they don't have assurance whether it is fake or not. So the Nigerian government needs to enlighten people, and also to do exactly what other countries do. If you have fake currency, don't be afraid that you'll be arrested. You can, in the US, what you do is that you put your signature and then take it to police station or take it to the bank. And the bank will collect it and then give you another one. So we should not destabilize the economic system by just saying fake currency everywhere. We need to educate people and let them know the right thing to do if they discover that a particular currency is fake. It also means that we need to improve our security measures, because if your currency is more difficult to fake the dollars and pounds, for instance, because there are too many security features that make it very difficult for people to fake those currencies, unlike ours, that even when you look at it, you know that people can easily reproduce the currency. It's really not a good thing, because it undermines the integrity of the financial system and also leads to public distrust. So government needs to do something more meaningful, And one of those things we can do is to improve our our online transactions, so that people will not need to carry cash everywhere. Unfortunately, we have not done that. By the kind of technology we have, people still will continue for a long time to transact business, using cash.
Are we looking at the new currency that was introduced by Emefiele or the normal old one?
No, it's a fake. It's a new note that they are faking all over. Especially the high denomination naira notes. Yeah. The 500 naira new note, the 1,000 naira new note. I think that when you look at the old currency, in many ways, the old naira notes, in many ways, they are excellent.
Yeah,
that's why they survived all these years.
And the durability.
Yes, these ones that Emefiele came up with, there's no better way to describe them than to just describe them as a big fraud. They are not durable in any way. Just hold them for some hours. You start seeing that it will start looking pale. Start looking pale. If you by mistake forget it in your trouser pocket and you then wash your clothes, you won't believe it's a naira note anymore by the time you see it. But whereas the old ones,
yes,
you could wash it along with your clothes and still be able to use it.
Yes. Yes,
that is how durable.
That's 1,000 naira.
Yes, this 1,000. I've washed it in error so many times. There is no way these ones can survive the vagaries of time like this one. So I know that ultimately we will still fall back to this one, since we are unable to print enough. So I'm sure this administration, which the president and supporters never believed in it in the first place, because many people believe that it was designed to make him lose the election. So, and even you saw my interview with the governor of Yobe. He said within the party they were asking themselves, what is this? Why this time? Yes, this president had done it in the past, but he did it when he just came into power. He did it the month, the first 30 days of coming to office. But this time around, you are doing it less than 4 months or 5 months to leave in office. So people will ask questions. So the thing was hurriedly done, the planning was poor, and it was meant to stop somebody from winning the election. But you can see, we do not have enough. So in my view, they should just quietly ease them out of circulation
and print more
of the old notes.
Yes.
They are still printing the old notes. We still have them. You still see new notes, you know, the old one. They are more beautiful. They are more dignifying. You look at them, you'll be proud that this is your national currency, you know. And our people should show greater regard for the currency, not to be spraying money and people stepping on it the way you saw. Somebody got a son, and some people use the opportunity to be spraying money recklessly. People are stepping on the money. Americans will not be happy to see people trample on their currency like that. It's like a national symbol.
That's one culture that
we have to stop. The fact that you are rich does not mean that you should push your wealth in people's faces. This is a season in which our people are going through a lot.
Yeah.
People can't feed. The number of people who call you every day asking for one favor or another, even among people who are working.
Why don't you envelope it?
Yes, and give the person. They will never do it, just want to show off. I don't know why Nigerians are like this. And even if you want to spray, do it with some decorum.
Yeah.
With some decorum, you cannot remove a bundle, just throw it away in the air like that, and then people will be stepping on it. And there are people who cannot afford just one of those notes in a day. Just one of those notes. There are people who cannot afford it. And they are seeing you, those videos are going around. They are seeing you. It's like mocking them. You are mocking the poor in the society by spraying naira notes in the way that our people are doing. You know, so I just think that I saw a story talking about ways to identify fake naira notes, but maybe some other time we'll be able to talk about that. But I believe that this is the responsibility of the CBN to come out and let Nigerians know this. They can do it through the NOA now. The NOA, we've always demanded that the NOA should be up and doing.
Yes.
Yes. Alhaji Isa Onilu is in
Come
charge
out of
now.
comatose.
They have to show that they exist.
Yeah.
And they have to lead major enlightenment initiatives.
And it must be funded.
Yes, government as the president has to fund it. You have split it now.
Okay.
You know, you said the ministry.
Okay.
You know, he has split the what's it called? The information ministry.
Yes.
Part of it has gone to Musa, the young woman. So yes, that's talking about tourism. Tourism. In fact, they're split into three now. Tourism is a separate ministry now, standing alone, out of information and culture. Then Anatu Musawa is now in charge of culture and creative economy. So information and national orientation are alone, are together now under Idris, the minister. So what I'm saying is that they have a lot more now to do. They will be able to, now that they've split it, the distractions are gone, they can face national orientation, national enlightenment, and information. So NOA should be able to get more attention now, yes, from the president than before.
All right. Time is considered the most valuable thing on earth, and what we do with it shapes one's character. A school principal in Katsina State, Lawal Ibrahim, has met with his Waterloo over inability to control his sexual desire. The state governor, Diko Rada, has ordered the suspension of the principal over alleged sexual harassment of a female student of government secondary school, Dantankari, in Danjuma local government area of the state. Governor Rada also directed a full investigation into the allegation. Wale, you want to tell us about this?
I think it's one of the most appalling thing anybody can do. You know, you are a teacher. You are supposed to, part of your responsibility is to teach your pupils certain moral conducts, you know, and then what you have decided to do is to sexually harass them. I think it's a very, very bad thing, and it's becoming a very common phenomenon in our public schools and even private schools. And in some cases, people will just sweep it under the carpet. Sometimes we even blame the victim, you know, so which is very unfortunate. I think we need to get more stringent laws, you know, tough laws that can punish. Because when you did this to a pupil, I mean, you have traumatized her, you have destroyed her psychologically, sociologically, you know, you have destroyed her future. And even health-wise, there are a lot of health implications for this kind of thing. So I think there should be a very tough measure. I know that the Ekiti State is doing that. You know, a lot of people have been arrested and prosecuted, even sentenced, you know, to various terms. The government needs to take this as a very important issue on the local and national scale. So we are waiting to see how the government is going to enforce law in this case, at least to serve as a deterrent to many other teachers that think that the best way is to use their pupils for sexual experiment.
Julie,
You know, it's so terrible to hear that a full-grown man will be sexually harassing the secondary school student. You are not even, this person is not in a tertiary
I'm telling you.
institution, no. Secondary school. Secondary school, for God's sake.
He's not an adult yet.
Yes.
Up to 18.
Yes.
Up to 18 in secondary school.
She's still below the age of consent. If you are dealing with maybe a university student now who is above 18 years, it's understandable.
It's legal.
But someone who is in secondary school, I don't understand how some people just can't keep their crutches in check. You just, it's inexcusable to behave in this manner. And I want to see Governor Ada make a very good example of this person. We can't stop sending girls to school. But if we are saying we are trying to improve the enrollment of women, of young girls, especially in northern Nigeria, and they go to school, secondary school of all places, and they get harassed by their teachers or principals, why won't parents feel uncomfortable about sending their children to female children to school? It's because of behaviors like this. So I'm happy that the governor has intervened, and it is hoped that this will not be swept under the carpet. If this one were to be a university lecturer, it will be one of those giving people sexually transmitted high grades. Yes, that's what is happening. A lot of the women, they have to sleep with their lecturers before they pass. If they don't sleep with their lecturer, they will be made to sit their papers. Do receipt or even get an extra year. That is the threat that they usually issue, so that those ones can, so that they will play ball. So I believe that what the governor has done is the right thing. And hopefully, this teacher will be made to pay the full price for what he has done.
In some situations, we have religion and culture as a kind of limitation. That's culturally, religion-wise, there's nothing wrong with, a child, having a child as your wife and everything. So it's maybe from this side of the country, that's why we discourage it. We've signed, some states, they've duplicated the child out bill, but they find it so difficult up north
even in conservative societies where young girls are married off, there are procedures, even though we frown at it, but there are procedures. the consent of the parents is actually very central, to that kind of, not when you find a situation where this is more or less like rape, compelling without the knowledge, without the consent of the child, without the consent of the parents. They are totally different things.
Taking advantage
of this girl and forcing her, to sexually know her. So I think it's appalling, and I don't think any religion condones that, not in Islam, not in Christianity. So he just needs to bear the cross all alone. And I'm happy that the governor has upheld the legal authority of that state to ensure that there's a kind of punishment, because a lot of children are suffering in silence that they cannot talk. So we need people to come out. We need exposures like this to be able to give confidence to a lot of young girls that are being brutalized, being sexually abused in silence all over the country, but they cannot just express themselves. It's a very common thing, and I don't think any society should tolerate this, because you are destroying the future of these younger ones. So I think there should be punishment for this man, so that it serves as a very good lesson for other teachers that may want to do. And it's not just, it should not be left for the governor alone. The NBA, in that state, Nigerian Bar Association, the NUJ, it should be seen as something that concerns all of us. We should follow it up and ensure that justice is done.
In some environment like that, especially higher institutions, there's a kind of cartel. Like people coming together and lecturers forming the kind of cartel, fail students deliberately just because they want to have carnal knowledge of them.
No, it's not even, they do it believing that whatever happens, if a girl, for example, reports a lecturer, they feel that, okay, that girl has injured one of us. And because she has injured one of us, we have to make him pay and make her pay for that. So that is worrisome. You cannot have a situation in which you fail
gang up
students, not because they are not good enough academically, but because they've chosen not to sleep with some of you. So this is something still rampant until we begin to jail teachers, jail lecturers in the universities for sexually harassing young girls. This will not stop, and we shouldn't just jail. We should put them to shame. Let the world see them for who they are. Their videos should go out so that even their children will feel the shame of what their parent has done. So this is the thing. We need to stop this nonsense once and for all.
All right, we'll take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi guys, I am Kehinde Bankole. Come with me as I take you to the homes of some lovely DSTV customers to find out what they enjoy watching during the holiday season. Who hides the remote control? What's the show you like watching over and over?
There's actually a show called Slum King.
So good to see you. Such a beautiful home.
I learned on home makeover, on how to make your home look beautiful, modern.
Do you cook? I actually love cooking jollof rice.
I cook.
I help them eat it.
We usually do movies together. Usually Mnet.
Dragon's Den and Chopped.
We love watching Family Feud.
I love UFC.
Guys, this Olawa Shibi too.
Teen Titans, go!
Indomie love bowl, right?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Who's your favorite artist?
Burna Boy.
Thames.
Who will help you, no go stress you?
So football.
Erling Haaland, he's my baby.
What if their team loses? I'll be the referee that day. The whole family will become mood. Camera off, light off, show.
No matter your holiday preference, there's always something to bring you and your loved ones together on DSTV.
Sales, sales, sales! Embrace the holiday spirit with a shopping extravaganza at the TVC Women's Network First Sales Fair. Join us for an amazing opportunity to explore a wide array of products and services at festive discounts. Discover irresistible offers. Mark your calendar, December 15th to 17th, 2023. Venue, TVC Communications, 1 Continental Drive off CMD Road, Ikosiketu, Lagos. Time, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Immerse yourself in the festive vibe with a shopping spree featuring exciting games, stunning showcases, and live performances. Wrap up your shopping list with unmissable savings. For inquiries, call 0803-284-8509. Join us for an unforgettable holiday shopping adventure. This event is brought to you by TVC Communications.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Journalist Hangout on Sunday, 1 week after the tragedy that hit Tundubiri in Kaduna State, where the army inadvertently bombed and killed more than 85 persons. More people are calling for justice for the victims. This time, the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, has joined others to demand justice for the victims. The revered monarch, who confirmed that the presidency has directed an investigation into the unfortunate incident, said no effort can bring back life lost, but there should be adequate compensation for the victims. In fact, a lot of northern leaders, elders, they've been talking, but I read one from Sheikh Gumi today, and I didn't totally agree with him, but he said poverty is killing us. The situation, the people are meant to be protecting us are bombing us. That's that tragedy will continue to generate criticism,
yes,
mistake by the Nigerian army.
Yes, that is why this sort of thing should not have happened. It is better to let the bandits get away than to kill innocent people. And we are not talking about one person. We are talking about, even by NEMA's original reports, 85 dead, 66 injured. But I know that since that day, they've been bringing even more injured persons. You know, some ran into the bush.
Yeah.
They've been bringing more injured persons.
Discovered that there are more than 66
So it's
injured.
more than 66. By the same token, you can say that it is more than 85 persons that have died. Because when people are injured, some will succumb to their injuries.
Yes,
some the injuries will be so severe,
severe
that they are only hanging on, by threat. They are only hanging on to life by threat. So in such a situation, you know that more people will die from their injuries. We don't have the health care facilities that can ensure that in moments of adversity like this, of calamity of this nature, we can keep the casualty low. No, it's just we don't have. I'm sure now that even the facilities and the hospitals are overstretched. Some of the admitted people were on the floor.
Because they've never experienced something like this from this kind of calamity at the same time.
A busy hospital in the first place. And then suddenly a deluge of patients coming. Where do you admit them? You are not going to discharge those who are originally on their beds in the hospital because you want to bring in new people. So some are even on the bed, on the bare floor. So it's a calamity. There was no need for this kind. No need. What our people are going through is enough. It's enough. And that's why there has to be compensation, and there has to be some measure of atonement for this. This is a real disaster. This thing has been happening. We've been talking about it.
Yeah.
Bombs being dropped on innocent people. It's been happening for years. It's even speculated that between 2015 and today, we have lost more than 500 people to this kind of killings.
Some innocent people in ID.
Some they don't get reported. You know, yes, in Iran, inside an IDP camp.
You know how
before then,
populated.
there was a funeral procession that they dropped the bomb on. A funeral procession. So this sort of things can turn the people against the army. There was no need for it.
Costly mistake.
I mean, and you must give yourself time. The army, they've been shouting they want army aviation, and I'm saying take your time. Perfect your own area of core competence.
Armor,
before
infantry.
moving into aviation, for God's sake. You have armor, you have artillery, you have infantry, you know, different arms of the army. You have the engineering corps.
To just leave the aviation,
this for some time, at least until you people we can say yes, you have capacity, because you've not been doing it for years. Those who have been doing it for years, even they too are killing innocent people.
So, and it's not something you can be experimenting.
Exactly, with drones. With drones, look, of all the air platforms, the one that usually causes this kind of death, that has the high capacity to cause this kind of collateral damage, is the drones, unmanned area vehicles. Because if, for example, I was flying an helicopter, a ground attack helicopter, they just usually go on high altitude. And that's why Boko Haram fears them a lot, because you are seeing what is about to kill you. It's not dropping bombs on you from high altitude. If a B-52 bomber is to drop a bomb on you, are not likely to see it, because it's flying from very high altitude. And sometimes too, because of the high altitude, because of flying from high altitude, to achieve precision is always difficult, because so far away. The bomb in coming down can change its direction because of the distance. It's not so. In this kind of situation, I believe that an helicopter would probably have been even better. But helicopters too, because they are susceptible to being shot down.
Yeah.
By
anti-aircraft.
Even because you can see them.
Yes, if it's too.
If you fire at the right, maybe where there is no thick armor, you can bring it down. So even a farmer brought down the Apache helicopter in Iraq. A farmer with his gun. It's not. You can't have an aircraft that everywhere is armor plated. There will be some parts of it that are not armor plated. If they can target such a place, it's coming down. So we need to do our best not to kill our people. We kill people in Nasarawa, we kill people in Zamfara, we kill people in Ran, Kalabalge local government of Borno State. And it just must not continue. We have to be more careful. We have to be more careful. If you are not doubly sure, don't drop that bomb. And that's why, in my view, even for this kind of thing, drones, yes, drones, they've been useful, but we have to reduce the rate at which we use the drones. Because the drone does not have a pilot. Even if intelligence is wrong, you program the drone to go and drop the bomb at a particular location. It's not going to take a last-minute decision that, these people that I'm seeing, they look like women and children. They don't look like
it's programmed already.
So let me turn back. No, the drone will simply do the job that you sent it. You know? It's like you hold your remote. You want to watch Man U being disgraced by Bournemouth, or you want to watch Arsenal, the so-called placeholder, being beaten by Aston Villa. You are the one who pressed to the channel where they are showing it. It's going to show you what you asked for. You know? So I think the Chief of Army Minister who said this will not happen again. Ayo. The only guarantee that will not happen again is if the army stay clear of flying area vehicles or flying helicopters.
Should allow the Navy to do that.
Let the Air Force focus on that.
Well, they are talking about compensation. Now, the number of families to be compensated. We don't have database. We don't keep figure. At the end of the day, we were deliberating in the newsroom the other time, and they said over 120 people might have died.
You see, there is no amount of money you can pay that you can buy one human life in the market. So well, compensation is good, but the damage has been done.
Yes.
How much compensation you want to pay, that one is secondary. The important thing is that you know that in 2017 about 52 people were killed, about 120 people wounded in ID camps in Borno State, aero bombing. So I think, just like Babajide has said, we must ensure this does not happen again. Well, it's not as if it's peculiar only to Nigeria, and that's why we should ask people not to politicize it or to turn it into a religious, issue, because there is a limit to technology. Even advanced countries, they do have that challenge. In 2016, the U.S. bombed a village. About 120 people died in Syria. They thought ISIS was building the camp there. They turned out to be very wrong. Also in Iraq, in 2017, they bombed a car that was, a dark-colored car, thinking it was a car bomb. But it turned out to be a man, his wife, and 2 children. And there was also a case in 2020 that they bombed, a place. 10 people, 7 of them children. U.S. with all the sophistication, and even NATO has made such mistakes in the past. So this is a human error, but it's an avoidable human error. Because technology, you can have blood images, you can have flawed intelligence, you can have faulty images that can give you very wrong impression, because you're a human being, you are not perfect. But I think we must ensure this does not happen again. I think that's what the government owes us. No matter how much compensation we want to pay, you can't bring back those people that are dead. The government must ensure the people that are in charge must be trained. And the primary thing is that if you see 20 terrorists and there are 2 innocent people among them, your primary concern should be how to preserve those two people. Not that I want to bomb because these people are there. So even if there are terrorists in the midst of these civilians, I mean, the best thing is to allow them to go for that moment and wait until the time you can get the terrorists isolated and then deal with them, in an isolated manner.
This one, they were not even
there. They were even told they were celebrating, Islamic festival. And then you also went out. So
do you remember that army chief in Iran that the American took out?
Yes.
It's close to the
Suleiman
airport.
Suleiman, yes.
As it was.
It was a drone attack, but it was perfectly done. We did it with accuracy, took him out, and some of his bodyguards too. So it's
we have monitored him.
Yeah, of course, because if they had failed to deliver the bomb on target and kill innocent people, the reputational damage to America, they won't be able to overcome it. So they knew, yes, it's an enemy territory, we are looking for someone, but you must get that person. You must get that person. It's the same way that America has managed to kill some terrorist leaders. ISIS will name a leader, after a while America will kill the leader.
Killing leaders upon leaders.
Kill the leader, kill their wives, people around them. But to go and be killing innocent people, our own, I'm worried because sometime last year we were talking about a market, in a marketplace, you drop the bomb in a marketplace in Zamfara. Our people have paid so much with their lives over this terrorism and banditry, and we have not defeated the enemy. We have not defeated the enemy, and it shows. So we need to take extra steps, because our country is a complex country. Before you know it, some will say, somebody said it was deliberate. That if it wasn't deliberate, why did they drop that? They dropped the bombs twice. That the drone dropped the bomb twice. That shows that it was deliberate. You can't say it's deliberate. You can't. You can't say it's deliberate.
What would be the aim?
It's not deliberate.
Killing innocent.
What is there? I mean, it's just...
You started reading meanings.
Some Christians also died in the thing because it's a community with mixed Christian and Muslim population. Even the district head of Rigasa, when they interviewed him, he said, yes, that they lost some Christians too, because their community, both religions are fairly represented.
How will the Jones
identify your religion?
Identify religion. Nigerians are very funny people.
I don't know.
And these are the set of...
Just to avoid these things, you know. Every little opportunity, some people, because they hate the government, they want to blame the government for everything, including things that happened during the last administration. You know, but again, you have to keep working hard to ensure that these things don't happen again. And the way we can do it is, let's have a thorough, open investigation of what happened, so that we can learn lessons. We are talking about what happened in Iran, Kalabalge, Zamfara, and other places. Was there any report? Was there any investigation? We just dropped the bombs to kill innocent people. After a few hues and cries, it ends there. No investigation, no attempt, you know.
Would have been swept under the carpet.
Yes, no one won't talk about it. You just apologize and we move on. Is this one that the people are asking questions and demanding that there should be a thorough investigation? Maybe now, with a new administration, we will be able to do a thorough investigation and see how we can stop this happening again in future.
We know the time in Nigeria that one day want trouble, that some people will just wait for the time to just relapse and we'll move on.
No, I believe, you know, with the wave this particular one has generated, you know, we need to come out with a report, just like I said, you know, transparent investigation, so that we know who was actually responsible. And people must see that justice has been done. And if possible, with all the past cases, you know, since for the past years, we need to investigate and find out what actually happened. That is the only way we can prevent future reoccurrence.
All right, moving on now. It appears that the more we hear, the less we understand regarding the crisis rocking the Osun State over the removal and appointment of the state chief judge, the nominee of the state governor, Ademola Adeleke, to replace the state chief judge, has been rejected by the National Judicial Council, NJC. The council insists that Justice Adekwele Uju, who was purportedly suspended by Governor Adeleke, remains the chief judge. Jide, what is happening to our dancing governor? Doesn't he understand this? And we have precedents before this now.
Well, you know, when this happened, I make it clear that this is borderline illiteracy. You can't claim that you do not know that you've not got the power to remove a chief judge. Governors imagine themselves to be even greater than God. You cannot just wake up one day and try to, by fiat, remove the chief judge of a state. There is separation of powers, for God's sake. You are the governor of a state, you are not an emperor.
That's an independent arm of government.
It's an independent arm of government. And then you just talk that, okay, you could appoint someone. That person refused to go now for the inauguration. He refused to go because the last person who did that in Ekiti State, 12 years.
Destroyed his career.
12 years. He was in the cooler. The NJC taught him an exemplary lesson. And every judge knows that, look, that kind of punishment is waiting for him if for any reason he allows himself to be used by the executive. You have no power to discipline a judge. You've not got the power. It's the NJC that is vested with the power to discipline a judge. Leave the NJC to do that work. It is not your responsibility. So, and if you've heard all kinds of stories about the woman, you cannot also tell the House of Assembly to go and investigate and pass a judgment. You can't shave the head of the NJC behind his back.
At all.
You can't do that.
Anything that pertains to the judges.
The House of Assembly in Ekiti, back in 2006, suddenly woke up on the wrong side of the bed and decided that, look, let us appoint by ourselves an acting chief judge. What came out of it? The constitutional crisis led to Olurin being made
the administrator of that state.
Of the state.
The governor left, they removed the governor, removed the deputy governor.
The deputy governor did not commit anything.
I remember
but
that.
They wanted their own person to become acting.
Friday at the rem.
Yeah. They wanted to become acting
the speaker there.
Governor. You know, they brought them here to Akodo and were told what to go and do in Ekiti. How can an House of Assembly not have the independence to take its own decisions? They brought them, the way Obasanjo was running things, he will use the EFCC to harass House of Assembly and tell House of Assembly to go and impeach governors. Sometimes they will have 6, 7, just 6, 7, 8 members. They will use 8 members to impeach a governor. And the same man will come and tell us that he's a great lover of democracy. You are not a lover of democracy because we saw what you did as governor. A lot of your decisions were anti-democratic. Look at how many governors, and it was a waste of time. You remove a man, they will come back, the Supreme Court will say no, you remove him wrongly, he will go back and continue in office. So I think that the NJC was right to stand firm. The executive should busy itself with its own core responsibilities. Don't dabble into judicial matters. If the CJ, if the governor, the chief judge misbehaves, the NJC is there to punish him. And we saw their judgment in the course of the week. You know? So it's not in a delicate place to appoint an acting CJ or to even fire the CJ that was there. And
who are those advising the governor? Because for me, I feel that somebody might have told him that, look, there's nothing that will happen, that you are the governor, go ahead with this.
Well, we always hope to see governors or leaders that at least have average intelligence above those that are acting as his advisors. Because you are the one that appoint your advisors, so you should have some kind of level of critical thinking to be able to distinguish between which advice is bad, which advice is good, which one should I take, or which one should I not take. Most of the time, these advisors are helpless. When they give you an advice, they only give you an advice based on what you already want to do. You understand? So the point of the matter is that I find it very difficult that the governor does not understand the basic principle of separation of power. Because the theory is that we must ensure disposition of power to ensure balance, so that no arm, either the judiciary, the executive, or the legislative, becomes too powerful, to have absolute power over the other. This is an age-long pillar of democracy that, without it, democracy comes to nothing. So for you to think you can even remove the chief judge of a state, it's an aberration. So if not for the AJC, you would have just gone ahead to, it should be told that, the position of the governor is not akin to being a traditional ruler of a community, where you are the KBC, nobody questions you.
Even the local government chairman can question you.
You can be questioned by even the ordinary man on the street.
The local government chairman is your boss.
Yes.
As a traditional.
So you don't have the right to just think that, look, I have to have the chief judge in my pocket, I must have the traditional rulers in my pocket, the House of Assembly in my pocket. You have just 1 year to stay in power. And we are talking of institutions that will endure your 8-year maximum, authority in Osun State. So I'm glad that we now need to protect because there are many other ways they may want to deal with the chief judge. So the NJC should not just go to sleep. They must ensure there's adequate funding. You can go ahead to start withholding the man.
Bukola Saraki too did this.
Yes, they might start withdrawing funding for, and
by the time Justice Elelu Habib won her matter, it was already too late. They knew she had already outgrown the seat, So in that way, she would think that, yes, he achieved his aim. But the judiciary should make sure that even in deciding such cases, they give expeditious hearing. Decide such matters quickly so that they don't achieve their aim. Because if you suspended a woman from office, you remove a woman from office as a CJ, you are the one who wanted her. You know, I don't know where they quarreled. You now remove her, but the case dragged on for too long to the point that by the time justice came, she had no time left to continue to occupy that position. Then it is not justice in the real sense, in my view. Justice has to be seen to be totally served. For someone like me to believe that, yes, justice, but at the end of the day, you cheated her. Some of the years that she would have been in office, you denied her illegally. So I think the NJC too, they need to stand firm and stop some of these schemes by governors to trample on the judiciary.
The way it is skewed, the way the executive, the power within the power given to the executive, you know, the patronage they have, they give judges official cars, give them accommodation, do a lot of things, even to the legislature. They seem to have this kind of edge. We are just playing lip service when we say, oh, there is separation of powers, that there's an independent arm of government. But the truth of the matter is that in terms of patronage, in terms of everything else, the fate lies in the hands of
It's simply abuse of power. Because the funds you are using to buy vehicles for them is not your personal funds, it's public fund. The only thing is that the money comes for you to approve. And you are just a civil servant approving on behalf of people that have voted for you. You are not there for yourself. You are there to serve the side. So those funds you are approving for judiciary, it does not belong to the governor as a person. So that's one thing that people must understand. So for the fact that we are saying judiciary must be independent, does not mean that they should not get money from the state. The money is not the private property of the person in power. And that person will only spend about 8 years and go. So it's public funds. It's just abuse of power. You know, another assumption of their roles and responsibilities in terms of, you know, administration of the state. In other countries, of course, president, governors approve funds for the judiciary, but that does not mean that you should now use that one to blackmail them, as if it's your own personal money.
We see it happening here.
There's a governor that even they told him that they wanted to go for training, and he said, no, why do people have to go for training? Meanwhile, training is your right. It's your right. A good judge is a product of good training. You don't want them
workshops,
to refuse. Yes, all over the world. It's even there. It's part of their office that you can go for training and medical checkup abroad. You know, some will take medical checkup in lieu of that training. You know, because they are entitled to that. You know, so the judiciary has to be totally independent for us to get the best out of them. And financial independence is very important. Where someone believes that is the one who will give you accommodation, is the one who will do this for you, you transfer appeal court judges to Abuja. Some of what they get, even as judges, as high court judges in some states, is better than what they are going to get in Abuja. If you are a judge in Lagos, for example, or a judge in Rivers, and they transfer you to Abuja. In fact, some of them don't like being transferred to Abuja. I'm telling you the truth. Because they know that the way they take care of them here in Lagos, or the way Wike's government took good care of judges, going to Abuja is like being downgraded. The same SUVs that you are entitled to as a judge here is what you go and get over there. And even the accommodation will most certainly be better than what you get in Abuja, where they are all struggling in this. They are their quarters in Gudu. You know, so we need to let them have the financial autonomy. That way, they will be able to decide cases without caring whether a governor will feel embarrassed or a governor will feel bad. So that is my submission on this matter.
All right. President Bola Tinubu's intervention appeared to have resolved the political crisis in Ondo states, but more revelations have shown that all is not yet well with the Southwest states. Alleged forgery of the governor's signature on official documents by some aides is opening old wounds. A few days after a constitutional lawyer, Kayode Ajulo, raised the alarm that some commissioners are forging the signature of ailing Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, the State Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources, Razak Obe, has confirmed that the allegation. In a letter to the State Deputy Governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, the commissioner said forensic analysis detected irregularities in a document returned from his ministry through the office of the Secretary of the State Government. Those state crisis is now turning to something else. Okay, I'm told by my producer that we need to take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more, still on those state crises.
Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja Nigerian Army Medal, on behalf of officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army, announces the commencement of the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2023 with the theme, Personnel Motivation for Effective Operational Performance in a Joint Environment. The significant event will offer an avenue to comprehensively review ongoing operational engagement of the Nigerian Army in all theaters across the country. The President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is expected to grace the occasion as the special guest of honor. Date, 10th to 16th December 2023. Venue, Command Guest House, Maiduguri, Borno State. Time, 8 a.m. Delhi. Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, Director, Army Public Relations. Announced.
Sales, sales, sales! Embrace the holiday spirit with a shopping extravaganza at the TVC Women's Network First Sales Fair. Join us for an amazing opportunity to explore a wide array of products and services at festive discounts. Discover irresistible offers. Mark your calendar, December 15th to 17th, 2023. Venue, TVC Communications, 1 Continental Drive off CMD Road, Ikosi-Ketu, Lagos. Time, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Immerse yourself in the festive vibe with a shopping spree featuring exciting games, stunning showcases, and live performances. Wrap up your shopping list with unmissable savings. For inquiries, call 0803-284-8509. Join us for an unforgettable holiday shopping adventure. This event is brought to you by TVC Communications.
Lagos is the most visited state in Africa as the 5th largest economy on the continent. Covering the state and its government is no mean feat, it's a busy beat. We go beyond the curtain of tapes to traveling far into the deep.
I want to thank the Lagos state government for the healthcare facility.
To bring stories that cut across all spectrums.
A greater Lagos shall be ours.
We tell you stories that define our collective well-being as Lagosians. I'm Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Thank you for staying with us. Julie, it's so unfortunate that this has degenerated to a serious political crisis.
And, you know, we've been saying that these people didn't mean well. All of the funny allegations against the deputy governor, they can't prove even one of them. And you are calling those allegations gross misconduct. What is happening is gross betrayal of the Ondo people. The people want to see governance in the real sense of the word, but people who are already planning for life beyond 2024, who want to make sure that it is someone within their own political loop that inherits Akeredolu's office. They are the ones behind all of this. Ideally, coming back from the meeting with Asiwaju, they should have transmitted power to the deputy governor, so that he can function effectively as an acting governor, take big decisions, move the state forward.
Yes.
But they got back.
Cover the...
And the man made concessions. They made him sign an undated resignation letter. Why did the president do this? All to make those guys feel comfortable that, look, there's no need to continue this fight. Because they wanted to get him out of the way by all means.
And they won't dissolve the cabinet.
So, and he also promised that he would not dissolve the cabinet. But as soon as they got back, they began to behave just the way they have been behaving since Akeredolu fell ill and became incapable of functioning in his capacity as governor. I'm not surprised that these things are happening. I'm not surprised. In fact, it would have been a shock to me if they were not doing this.
But Ari Datiwa presided over the first executive council meeting some weeks back, and is it still lame duck?
If there's anything worse than lame duck, I will call him. Because they just didn't give him the power. They appointed people to take charge of local councils. He did not know about it. He did not know about it. Even the decision to do a meeting was not his decision. He can't come out now and look me eyeball to eyeball and say that I was the one who called that meeting. I mean, this is what has been happening. What is happening in Ondo State is ridiculous. People are taking the hunger for power, the appetite for power beyond the reasonable level. This is what we are seeing. Why would people go to the point of forging the governor's signature and handwriting? Why? And now forensic analysis has now shown that indeed those the signatures were forged. So the EFCC has been notified. What the EFCC needs to do now is to begin to make arrests. They need to begin to make arrests to show that the EFCC is the EFCC that we've always known. You have to move in now because you've received the petition. The EFCC chairman can't claim that he has not received petition. So the people mentioned, they need to come and defend, okay, this signature is inconsistent with Akeredolu's signature. How come this has happened? They need to answer questions. And the law does not permit you to forge my signature.
The criminal offense. Now, looking at the dynamics, I think a lot of people will tell you that it's about 2024. It's about the succession bid that some commissioners are interested to succeed Rotimi Akeredolu, and some don't want the deputy governor to have a kind of edge.
What is going on is very dangerous, because we may find ourselves in a situation where very serious crimes will be committed in the name of the governor of Ondo State without his knowledge, by forging signatures. I think the governor has been insulated from the public, by thick clear of profiteers, hangers-on, palace jesters, profit seekers, who don't love the governor for anything.
Rent seekers.
But desperate for primitive accumulation of wealth. They want to exploit his situation to make money. As it is now, we have a legitimate governor of the state, but there are many de facto governors who are acting, who are fronting for the governor without probably the knowledge of the governor. I believe that even if there is the deputy governor has the opportunity to see the governor, I believe most of those things they are attributing to him, they are not true.
Yes.
They won't even allow him to
I'm telling you. So we advise the party, the national leadership, to set up a small committee to meet Governor Akeredolu.
No.
It is if they have done it and it has failed, perhaps they need to do it again, because I don't think the governor is even aware of most of the things that are going on.
Yes.
If he's aware, if he's in a position to sign checks and approve checks, he will sign by himself. And then if he's in that position, then he should be able to hold meetings with one or two members of the Federal Executive Council, to even bring the gentleman to Nigeria. I think it's to further the economic interests of these individuals. They should have allowed him to. They should take him to where he can get the best medical services if they really care about his life.
Yes.
I tell you, these are his enemies. who don't care about whether he lives or dies, but who are only primarily concerned about their own
nest.
Yeah, to accumulate wealth. So it's a very delicate situation. We just hope that be a kind of intervention. The best way to do, the righteous thing to do, is to allow the deputy governor to act. We hope that we pray that the governor will recover his health. Then if he recovers, then he comes back to take charge of his districts as the duly elected governor of Odo State.
Okay. Joining us via Zoom now is the senior journalist, Richard Akinola. Thank you for joining us. What is happening?
What's going on? What's
in
going
Ondo
on
State, our beloved state?
Of the highest order. I mean, it's a shame that a state that the lives of Gadifa Himi, the lives of SAO, can. Ekiti doesn't deserve this. Ekiti is a nice human being. He doesn't deserve this thing that they are doing. I mean, running rings around him. Like Ayo rightly said, the man ought to have been in Germany in the first place. But because of some few selfish individuals around him, well, I mean, the deputy governor is having an upper hand. But governance here, not about personal interest. But what is playing out here is just a matter of personal interest of some few family members and some few political elites in that place, not the interest of Ondo State. And and I feel embarrassed that is my state, and they are being held hostage by a few due to their selfish interest. It's unfortunate because as when some of them claim that a governor can run the state from anywhere for Ibadan, why has he not been in Ondo since he came September 9? That he came back from Germany? Does he want to be in Akure? Can he be in Owo, his hometown? Let him call a press briefing, interview, TV interview. Let him be interviewed and be asked to know his mental capacity. But he finds that the man is not in the right set of mind right now. And it's unfortunate that all that. That's why I'm not surprised all these kind of forgeries. But I believe that whoever is being involved in all this kind of treachery, all this past will not go unpunished. Thank God that the man forwarded to the EFC, we will put EFC on the toes that, well, this will be their first. Forget about Yahoo boys and let's see how some of these political hirelings are dealt with. Because haven't seen what happened to late President Jaradua. Taraba State. The same set of self-politicians brought some time from US. The guy didn't know his right, left from right because of the accident he had. Making the drive in, and the same set of templates is being used in those states, which is very unfortunate. So if they claim that Akeredolu is well and able, live TV interview, let journalists ask him questions. Let him address the state. Let him go ahead and Ekiti doesn't consider that Ekiti made a position known when he was NBA president concerning Yaradua, when Yaradua was in situation. And people are not even caught history. How will history record Ekiti on what he has said as NBA president? People are not conscious of Ekiti. Yes, some people claim loyal to the governor and loyal to the governor or loyal to the state. Come on. Let me give an example. In 1990, Abubakar Umar was one of the closest of them President General Babangida. Yes. And June 12th crisis erupted. Umar went to go and meet Babangida, and I hope what I'm hearing is so true, that you want to hold this election. That for the first time, our agree with you. And when the Babangida annulled the election, Umar sacrificed his rank, resigned for the army. Until today, Babangida still respects Umar for that principal position. So why can't people just take the right decision instead of claiming that because they are loyal to the governor? No, that's not loyalty. That's selfishness. That's perfidy. That's perfidious. And I can't just understand it. Holding the people on Ondo State hostage is uncalled for. And we will condemn it. We're going to condemn it until the right thing is done. I don't care who is, I can't even pronounce his name, the deputy governor. The right thing needs to be done. The deputy governor needs to act. Because nothing can be done as a deputy governor if he doesn't act as the acting president. So, for example, on February 3, 2010, Dora Akunyili, as the sitting minister of information, went to the Federal Executive Council with a memo asking the members of FEC to direct, to prevail on then early President Yaradua to transmit letters to the National Assembly so that the Vice President, Goodluck Jonathan, could act. But he was shut down by some members of the FEC. But it takes courage for a sitting minister to do that one. So why can't some people do same thing in this scenario? So we cannot be held hostage by some few people. So the right thing has to be done, like I rightly pointed out, perhaps maybe the party or the president has to revisit this issue because there are different interpretations of what actually transpired when the president met the stakeholders. So the speaker came with his own different interpretation that the deputy governor had to sign a letter on a letter of resignation. So maybe that's bunkunk. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Because what's playing out that there are different interests. The deputy governor is interested to become acting governor. I mean, the speaker is interested to be acting governor. So, and of course, the deputy governor wants to be acting governor. But the right thing needs to be done. So the speaker, of course, wants the deputy governor out of the way so that he too could become an acting governor. So it's a lot of political interest, and all this is geared towards this year's election. Only God determines who will be alive next year. So they should stop all this nonsense and let Ondo State regain its rightful self. Ekiti has done so well as the leader of the Southwest Governors Forum, particularly during the rampaging herdsmen. He led the Southwest governors, very well. So it doesn't deserve this thing that some few members of his family and some members of his cabinet are doing to him. He doesn't deserve it. So the right thing ought to be done for deputy governor to be the acting president, to be the acting governor.
Kuriti, what legal steps can be taken now to compel the House to give the deputy governor the full complement of governorship power so that he can function in that capacity? I thought an amendment to our laws had made it automatic. Guaranteed that. I thought an amendment to the law had guaranteed that. What's going on? Can't the court compel them to take the action?
For example, there's an action in court filed by some lawyers in Ondo State to declare Akeredolu incapacitated. And once that is done, of course, automatically the deputy governor steps in as the acting governor. So those steps have to be taken. But again, you have to look at the political environment. You have a very selfish and pliant House of Assembly due to the selfish interests of the leadership of the House, who are, of course, want to step into any vacuum. So that makes it even more difficult in terms of political solution. But now that a group of lawyers have already gone to court in that regard, so hopefully before the court goes on Christmas vacation, this matter will be had to some extent to see how the governor can be declared incapacitated. And as I said, that these people are not being fair to Ekiti. I mean, why do you have to, allow this man, subject this man to this kind of indignity? This man ought to have resigned. You brought him from Germany, even though he wasn't well enough. You brought him from Germany, kept him in Ibadan, incommunicado. Come on. I mean, it is wicked. It is devious. It is perfidious for something to do that kind of thing. So let's hope what happens.
The action of the House of Assembly in all this.
Okay,
Sorry?
The House of Assembly.
That's what I said. The House of Assembly are complicit in all these things because the Speaker is also interested to become active governor. So they are complicit. And that's why they felt that, well, let's get the deputy governor out of the way. Then there's a vacuum. Now, of course, being number 3 man, then the Speaker will step in as acting governor. And that will now give him a good chance because perhaps it is interested to become governor next year. So the House of Assembly is complicit. That's why that's why the whole of this issue of impeachment or no impeachment crisis have been past couple of months. I mean, for God's sake, people want good governance. And what we have been saying that we are being the news for every bad reason. We shouldn't be. It's almost unfair to that state.
All right. I want to thank you, Uncle Richard Akinola. Thank you, veteran
Thanks so
journalist
much.
and the stakeholder in Ondo State. Thank you for your intervention. Jide, we have to, this should be gotten over with on time.
Yes. Well, there's nothing more to add. They just have to do the right thing.
The State House of Assembly will be indicted.
Akedele was the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association. If you are to be active now, you will have gone to court on this case to ensure that the deputy governor. So I want to see if we can also explore the NBA. Probably they can set up a group to go and meet him because at the end of the day, although people are going to be denied a lot of opportunities in terms of governance.
Was their president.
Yeah, you know.
All right. Now, there is hope in the horizon regarding stability in the price of fuel in Nigeria. The management of the Dangote refinery has confirmed that the company received its maiden 1 million barrels of crude oil towards full production. In a statement, Dangote refinery said the development is a step towards boosting domestic refining capacity and attaining energy security in the country. Jide, this is a good development. This is good news.
It is.
After the commissioning of that refinery by President Muhammadu Buhari, we didn't hear much. We waited and waited. Now for the crude oil to land now, that means the process is about to start.
Yes, and they have 1 million liters now. The oil company, Agbami, moved a considerable quantity of crude oil to Dangote refinery. So, and others too will come in. What Nigerians want to see is not just availability of the products, but they want to see the price go down. And I think that in everything that the NNPC does, they must work towards easing the pains on Nigerians. Yeah. Many Nigerians are excited that, okay, Dangote is coming on board. Yeah. The refineries would probably start
kicking off by this December,
by December or before the end of the year. They are excited because of the possibility of that helping us to achieve lower fuel prices. There's no other thing. If Dangote makes his money, I don't get a dime. I don't get a dime. But people believe that, oh, with a refinery of that size, that will be able to do 650,000 barrels a day, we would be able to achieve some level of availability, consistent availability of the products. And beyond that, we would also be able to see prices go down. It may not be considerably, but anything that will reduce prices now, because we are not going to incur freight cost. The landing cost would definitely have been lower. So there's no way that it should not reflect.
And even reduce pressure on the dollar.
Yes, because we spend a sizable portion of what we earn importing refined crude oil, importing petrol. So Dangote now will be in position to produce not just fertilizer, but produce diesel, produce aviation fuel, Jet A1, and all that. All that should be not just help us to lower prices, but ensure availability, because sometimes we do not have availability. People will queue for so long and all that. So it will achieve stability in pricing. I just want to see this help us reduce price to some extent, because our people are going through a lot. This increase in fuel price is one of the biggest enablers of inflation in our country.
It triggered it.
Yes, food inflation especially, because you have to bring these things down south. So congratulations to Dangote for building one of the biggest refineries in the world. Not the biggest, one of the biggest in the world.
This is not looking at the project, looking at the
I think for me this is the biggest economic news since 1999, because if you look at the last time we built a refinery in this country, so, and you are talking about a refinery that we employ some 30,000 direct and indirect workers, some 11,000 Indians, Chinese over 3,000 of them. So I think this is big news, no matter what way you look at it. And for the fact that we are going to be having byproducts of petroleum that we are losing when we import crude, including a palm, a lot of even weapon, things that are for military use, paraffin, aviation fuel and all that. So I think this is very big news for Nigeria. And the fact that he now needs to buy crude in naira, not in dollars, because since you are getting the crude here, you don't need to pay in dollars. So it is going to save the country a lot of foreign exchange. And so I think no matter what you say about Nigeria, in every cloud there's a silver lining. This is a big silver lining for Nigeria, and I think it calls for celebration. And it's also a challenge for Nigerian government that this, if an individual can build refinery, within a period of time, nothing stops the southwest region, the southeast region, south region from also building refineries. So I think it's a...
It doesn't have to be as big as that.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be as big as this. This is the 7th largest refinery in the world. And I think no matter how you look at it, it's a big achievement for, not just for Nigeria, for West Africa. And I believe we'll begin very soon to see the impact. It may be in trickles, but definitely it's going to make significant impact, in transforming our local economy.
All right. Joining us very soon is the CEO of Center for Promotion of Private Enterprises, Mr. Muda Yusuf. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Our concern this afternoon is to ask the question: will the takeoff of Dangote refinery lead to a reduction in fuel prices? Because people have been asking me this question. Will it translate to a reduction in fuel prices no matter how low?
Well, it depends on the framework for the delivery of the crude. If the crude is delivered Dangote in dollars, then we may not expect any significant reduction in price. The only difference perhaps we may be looking at will be the differential in terms of the cost of freight if these were imported from abroad. But if the NMDC applying some elements of political economy to this issue, decides to sell the crude to Dangote in naira and not necessarily at the conversion rate of 1,000 1,000 naira to the dollar. If something concessionally is given in terms of crude oil price, then we could expect that kind of, effect on pricing. And don't forget, Dangote also has a foreign currency exposure on this project. That's an equity investment. There's also a debt component. We are talking of a refinery of close to $20 billion US. These obligations have to be met. So within the framework of this refinery, not only the PMS, maybe from other products, it will also be committed to generating foreign exchange to be able to also offset some of its foreign exposure, some dollar exposure on this investment. But no matter how we look at it, this is a major investment. It's something that we should appreciate. And let me also say that we should learn to appreciate ourselves in this country. Because I cannot imagine any foreign investor that can take this kind of risk of investing $20 billion in an African country. I have never seen it. So we should appreciate what is our own and try to support it as much as possible. Because even as laudable as this project is, you need to see some narratives here and there. So this is a very good development. And I'm happy that NNPC is also a stakeholder here. So NNPC has a responsibility to make sure that this project succeeds. There's a social side or a political economic side to issue of energy. So we cannot leave everything to the issue of either market forces or international crude oil price, because the citizens are groaning. And one of their major pain points is energy costs.
Doctor, let me ask you what impact this could have even on the exchange rate, because we spend a huge quantum of our foreign exchange earnings to import refined crude. Now that we have this refinery, 650,000 barrels a day capacity, and our refineries too, Port Harcourt, Warri, they will start working. How will it impact on the exchange rate? Will it be significant?
It's likely to be significant. Because if currently we are spending anywhere between $1 billion to $1.5 billion, monthly or so, to import petroleum products. If you take that pressure of demand off the foreign exchange market, that would be a significant relief. And it's not only about PMS. You have diesel, you have aviation fuel, and you have petrochemicals. Most of these factories, most of these industries that are also spending a lot of foreign exchange importing raw materials for packaging, for plastics, for chemical industries. A lot of these things will also come from petrochemicals. There's also the fertilizer component. So if we're able to get it off on ground significantly and substantially, the demand pressure on the foreign exchange market will ease. And that is one of the biggest beauty of this project. It has a very high backward integration content. And that speaks to also the direction of industrial policy. We should be focusing a lot more on industries that can also source raw materials locally. That will help a great deal to build a competitive industrial structure, a competitive industrial ecosystem. That is what we call resource-based industrialization. So in many ways, I think this is going to be a huge blessing to this country.
Now, what we are looking at now, at the end of the day, in terms of employment, easing employment, Wale mentioned it later, 30,000 direct employment, and how would this help in boosting our economy and, putting down the pressure on them, 33% unemployment rates?
Well, it's going to have significant impact. But in terms of numbers, you know, if you are looking at the totality of numbers of the unemployed, it's huge. So when you relate it to the numbers that Dangote will employ, it may not be significant because this is a skill-based industry. It's not something you can just employ just anybody. And Dangote has invested a lot in training Nigerians, young Nigerians, to be able to take up positions here. But beyond direct employment, there is also what you call the employment multiplier. You know, a lot of industries are going to spring up around this. A lot of people in logistics, a lot of, you know, small-scale industries will be able to access a lot more raw materials and so on. So there is also a spin-off, you know, multiplier employment effects that this will generate. Not that it's going to impact significantly, you know, on unemployment. But beyond that, there's a macroeconomic impact, which BKO alluded to earlier. When you have a lesser pressure on your foreign exchange, many of the industries, many of the SMEs that are now crying about this challenge of Forex, they are likely to have a much better relief. Many businesses that have gone under, if the Forex situation improves, many of them will come up. Many of them will be able to scale. Many of them will be able to improve and grow. So there's a macroeconomic dimension to this development. So we should look beyond even the direct issues around employment to look at the macroeconomic implications.
Doctor, I'm sure you heard what the NNPCL GMD said to the National Assembly last week when they asked him about pricing, about whether the revitalization of the refineries would lead us to lower prices. And he said the refineries are not designed to engender lower fuel prices. I don't know exactly what he meant by that, because it kind of dampens the enthusiasm that a lot of Nigerians have. What was he trying to say? Was he just trying to let us realize that even when these refineries begin to work, that we should not expect that the prices will go down from their present levels?
Well, first of all, let me also say that we need to manage the expectations here. But just as I said at the beginning, the fact that we're able to produce these things locally, that by the time we get to at least to full completion of production, the fact that it's produced locally will give us some room to be able to deal with the pricing issue. Secondly, I think the NNPC GMD was talking more from a purely commercial point of view. He is not on the political seat. So he probably did not appreciate how hot it is for those who are on the political seat with respect to this high energy price.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is for those people that are politically managing because there is a political economy dimension to energy generally around the world because of the impact it's having on the citizens, especially now that the crude oil price is this high. So there has to be an infusion of that social element into the pricing in a way that it will not cause any major serious disruption to the process. And I think that can be done.
Okay.
So while he's talking about purely commercial, I think the political players should be able to also bring in the political angle or the political economy angle into this conversation.
I'm afraid we have to leave it there. Thank you. I want to thank you, Dr. Muda Yusuf, the CEO Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Anytime I hear from Musa Yusuf, it's always so simple.
Yeah, very
simplifies it breaks it down. You understand?
It says the truth.
Yeah.
If I were the government, I would not sell crude oil. If I were NNPC, I would guarantee Dangote access to crude oil, and I would not sell to him in dollars.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Because Nigerians are going through a lot, and we have a responsibility to let the people in government know that this is the extent to which our people are suffering.
All right.
If these prices will go down, even if it goes down to like even 500 or 400, people will still appreciate it. I was in Yobe, people were buying petrol for more than 700 naira per liter. I mean, it's a crazy situation.
It's bringing it away from Lagos. Now, at last, justice has come for the family of renowned Yobe-born Islamic cleric Sheikh Goni Asami, who was murdered by a soldier who offered a ride. He offered a ride in August last year. In this journalist Hangout weekend special, Babajide Kolade Otitoju recounts the circumstances leading to his deaths and spoke with 2 of his sons. Let's share the story with you.
Last year, the nation was thrown into shock by the murder of a famous Islamic cleric based in Yobe State, Sheikh Goni Asami. The respected cleric was killed by a Nigerian soldier, John Gabriel. At the time he met his death, Sheikh Asami was traveling from Kano to his base, Geshua, in his Honda Accord car with number plate KBT 31AE. When he got to a military checkpoint at Unguru, Gabriel requested for a ride to Jajimaji. The Sheikh obliged him. But before they got to Jajimaji town, the killer asked him to park, claiming there was an unusual noise coming from the rear tire. The cleric came down and was checking the tire when the suspect shot and killed him. But fate willed that Gideon would not be able to flee with the car. After trying fruitlessly to start the victim's car's engine and run away with it, Gabriel, who had deposited the Sheikh's corpse in the bush, sought the help of one of his colleagues, Adamu Gideon, and an electrician. A passerby saw the Sheikh's corpse deposited in the bush and raised the alarm, leading to the apprehension of Gabriel and his accomplice. The culprits were arrested and they confessed to committing the heinous crime. Last week, Justice Usman Zana Mohammed of a Yobe State High Court sitting in Potiskum convicted Gabriel with service number NA13/69/6522, attached to 241 Reki Battalion, Unguru, and his comrade in crime, Gideon, of murder and conspiracy, respectively. A few weeks before the conviction of the 2 soldiers, I met with 2 sons of the deceased cleric inside the ultramodern Ahmad Lawan International Market, Geshua. I have with me the son of the deceased cleric, Usman, and his brother, Abdallah. They are here in their shop where they sell GSM accessories. Thanks to the governor of Yobe State, Dr. May Malabune, who decided to rehabilitate them upon the unfortunate murder of their father in the hands of a Nigerian soldier. Good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Usman, Abdallah, good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Today you are in this shop. How does it feel?
It feels very nice, because we just lost our father last year, and we know that we have responsibilities to take. We have younger brothers and sisters to take care of, and even our mothers. So we have to stand up and look for something in order to make our younger one's life better.
They spoke on how their dad was killed and how he's so sorely missed.
He used to take leave to people anyhow because he is the man of the people. That is why. And then I realized now that Dad soldier knows him before.
Oh, you knew the soldier?
Yeah, Sheikh Goni Asami, late Sheikh Goni Asami.
Yes.
He knows the soldiers, the one that killed him.
He knows the soldier?
Yeah. He knows his character used to. When you beg him anything, if he has it, he go do it to you. That is why he does use that opportunity and kill him.
For me, I was at school at that time. I am studying at Damatu. Lagos State University. I was even writing exam at that time.
At that time, yeah.
So I didn't have any idea about the murder or I didn't know anything. I just took up my phone. I just saw it in Facebook that my father got killed
by a soldier.
Yes. So I then called my mom and my siblings. That they didn't pick the call at that time because they had it. So I just rushed to park and then arrived at Gashua around 2 o'clock on Saturday, 20th of August.
Yes. They killed him on Friday, right?
Yes, they came on Friday 19. So I got the news on 20th, on Saturday, 20th of August.
Tell me what you miss most about your father.
Yeah, we must feel it now because whoever meets his father, even though direct by the murder and killing to somebody, even directly he got killed by some
soldiers.
By soldiers. You must feel something like I look so bad in your mind, and then I've been feeling so far at that moment up to now. But I used to thankful to Almighty Allah, and then I would thank to Mema Boni because he tried more about my father.
He even gave us some houses, 3 houses, because our father has 3 wives.
Yes.
And each of the wives have their children, and
you have to settle them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and he even gave us some food stuff at that time.
And some money.
And some money. So he really tried, and up to now we are praying for him because no one tries more
like
than
him.
Every time you think about him, what do you miss?
Like me, I was always close to him at home.
Yes.
Whenever he's in the town, I'm close to him where we used to sit in the sitting room, in the living room.
Yes.
Sometimes with my friends, and we used to talk, not even like a father, sometimes as a friend. We used to joke, and he's not that kind of person like rude or yes. He used to play with us. Sometimes even my friends used to ask me that, Kai, your dad is so simple. So when I think of that, even now, if I enter that living room, I'll just think of him. And you know, life used to come with many challenges. Sometimes you need his presence, and he's no more. You have to feel that.
Tell me the story of this shop.
This shop.
How did you get here?
This shop is my what do you call it?
This shop.
It was belonged to one of my master who gave to by name with Sani Machina. Yeah. He's the one who's received the shop from Maimala Boni.
Yes.
But the time that Maimala Boni hires that I'm the one who going to use the shop, then this what you call with this market, they'll reduce some amount for us to be making and help our younger brothers and sisters. Yeah, with that amount that they can use it. And then we thank Almighty Allah because we use our business clearly going normally without any mistake.
That is one reason to believe that there are many people, bad eggs, in our armed forces, because nobody could have expected this to happen. But his 2 sons, the 2 sons of the deceased, they are here, picking up the pieces of their lives after the loss of their beloved father. As Abdallah said, his father was like a friend to him, a confidant, someone that he felt comfortable in his presence. But that rogue soldier took the life of Sheikh Goni Aiseme untimely. From the Senator Ahmad Lawan Model Market here in Geshua, Bade local government of Yobe State, Babajide Kolade Otitoju, TVC News.
Don't give anybody a ride, though. Stop giving anybody a ride. When you go to Lagos Ibadan Expressway, you just see some soldiers, you see some policemen, they're looking for cheap ride, they're looking for... Normally, you should restore confidence that I'm picking a soldier, I'm picking a policeman.
I mean, it's a terrible thing. How do you take the life of a man who offered you a ride? You stood by the side of the road like someone stranded. We are told to see the police as a...
Yes.
And we are told to appreciate the sacrifices of men of the armed forces.
Yes.
And then it's difficult for
me. So it's camouflage.
Yes. And it's not as if that uniform was stolen. He did a soldier serving in the Recce battalion in that town.
They've both been dismissed.
Yes. And then you just took him. You lied to the man that you were hearing a sound
and the man came down.
Tire. He came down as he was trying to fix it. You are supposed to even help him to fix it. He's an old man. It's you should even...
A respected sheikh.
Yes. And as he came down, you opened fire. And then dragged his corpse into the bush. How can people be this wicked?
What to say on that court?
There was a time, and as fate will have it, the car engine didn't start. Yes. The car engine didn't start.
He met it is Waterloo.
Yes. There was a time I saw a mobile policeman. He said he was working with Baba Jebu, a billionaire. But they were traveling and they left him behind. So he was desperate to catch up with them. So I was going to Abeokuta. I gave him that ride. At that, just before that Shagamu interchange, I gave him that ride. I dropped him in front of Obasanjo Library. Dropped him right there. He said he's going to meet. You know, there are some places where the accommodation there. Maybe that was where they put them. You know. I dropped him.
It's the standard hotel inside the line.
Yes, that was where he said I should drop him. I dropped him there. Imagine if he had turned against me. We were just two in the car. What would I have done? I mean, people, you see some Nigerians very irritable. They are not prepared to help. They are not even prepared to talk to you. It is because of people like this. How can a soldier, and
not fake soldier.
It underlines the fact that we have to thoroughly interrogate the kind of people that will bring into the process. We have to find out who they are. This is wicked, sheer wickedness.
Thank God.
It's unfortunate that when you now pay for being kind, being a nice person, that you now get death sentence, from a very ruthless and heartless member of the security armed forces. I actually believe that probably that wasn't his first time. Because for you to want to steal a car, you already have somebody who wants to buy it. You already have probably a network. Taking that car, you are taking it somewhere.
Pre-planned.
It's pre-planned. And it also shows that there are some people that join the armed forces in order to obtain the license to commit crime. They are criminals. They are just looking for an official, license so that they can,
The gun and the
the gun and uniform. They are, So we need to be more thorough, in screening people that join these very sensitive institutions. Public trust has been destroyed, and I'm actually surprised that somebody could even still carry. It shows you how good, how kind that sheikh was as a person. And I understand that he was such a very popular person. People, even beyond Yobe State, people talk about him for his kindness, for his truthfulness, for,
very well respected.
Yeah. So it's not good that our society grows to an extent that, there is a Yoruba proverb.
He has businesses in Kano, goes there a lot. He was coming from there.
There is a Yoruba proverb that that the greatest benefactor of a winch is surely the first victim of that winch, which is not supposed to be so. You are just being kind, and then you just kill 3 times, shot him. So we need to make sure this kind of thing does not happen again. And we hope the army, the police, they should thorough screening before anybody can come into, that kind. When I see his picture, just look at the face, the hairdo. You know that this one is just a thug. We hope that, look at him. Look at the face, look at the hairdo, a soldier.
All kinds of bad eggs in there. Some of them kill Boko Haram, butcher Boko Haram, film themselves.
Yeah.
How can you be that irresponsible? You kill it, and such a video will now leak to Amnesty International. And
Yes,
how will they respect
and those
it?
that's, you know.
This kind of soldier will collect money. He will collect money from Boko Haram in order to sabotage.
Of course, many of them sabotage their colleagues.
Yes.
Giving information about troops movement so that their colleagues can be wasted. Did it not happen? Even in this, was it in Yobe too that the soldier was arrested? You know, working for Boko Haram.
Giving information.
And some work for bandits. There was a time that the former CDS raised the alarm that the rate at which soldiers are working for bandits is a big problem. And they catch them, but they don't stop because all they want to do is just make money.
Money. I want to thank you, Wale Adeoye. I want to thank you for your contribution. And the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade.
Thank you.
Nice production for the journalist Hangout on Sunday. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for the regular episode of Journalist Hangout by 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubako. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.
Sales! Embrace the holiday spirit with a shopping extravaganza at the TVC Women's Network First Sales Fair. Join us for an amazing opportunity to explore a wide array of products and services at festive discounts. Discover irresistible offers. Mark your calendar, December 15th to 17th, 2023. Venue, TVC Communications, 1 Continental Drive off CMD Road, Ikosiketu, Lagos. Time, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Immerse yourself in the festive vibe with a shopping spree featuring exciting games, stunning showcases, and live performances. Wrap up your shopping list with unmissable savings. For inquiries, call 0803-284-8509. Join us for an unforgettable holiday shopping adventure. This event is brought to you by